Welcome to part 2. This is called God Talk by my friend Michael Mack, who has a show.
Oh, it's his half hour?
And Michael Mack is going south for Thanksgiving. And so we're here to do part 2 of Finnegan's Wake and what it can do for you. And I'm defending Tim's 17 improvisations on Finnegan's Wake.
And
Tim
I'm defending Finnegan's Wake, the original.
He's very modest.
Cover.
Yes. So we're going to now be reading from the end of the last chapter. The last page, really, is spoken by Anna Olivia. Why don't you tell our audience who Anna Olivia is?
So Anna Olivia is the mother of the 3 children, but the wife of the main character, HCE. And she has sort of been witness to her husband's scandals and all of the gossip about him. And if anything, she is a bit downtrodden by having to live with such a person, but she does still defend him. They are in love, but it's a very kind of realistic love. It's not a highly romanticized.
But she stands by her man.
She does, yes.
And she knows he needs standing by.
Yes, he certainly does. And we were talking earlier that, I always used to think that the scandals in the wake were these emanations in the subconscious, that they've just come bubbling up from this person who had sort of a bad conscience. He probably didn't do all the terrible things that are described in the wake, but it's just this is how the soul cleanses itself at night, maybe.
Well, isn't that good news? We have a great audience member here. We're cleansing. I didn't realize my nightmares are cleansing.
Very cleansing.
Oh, good. I'm cleansing most nights.
And so that's how I used to interpret the wake. And then nowadays, it looks like current events are catching up with the wake, because every time you open the newspaper, there's a new sexual scandal, and most of the scandals in the wake are sexual. So
tell them the first one, what he did in the park.
Well, okay. So the central one, if you take anything at its word value, face value, is that he was in the park one night and he saw 2 women peeing in the bushes, and this was seen. He was seen doing this by 3 military people, 3 soldiers, and so they were witnesses to him in the trial. And that was something happened in the park. I wouldn't say that was necessarily what happened, but HCE does have a bad conscience about something or other.
Like the Garden of Eden. Where were you then?
Right.
And maybe we didn't do anything worse than watching women urinating.
Yeah, so we open up the newspaper and there's stories about golden showers and people behaving badly in the arts, and now a senator. I mean, it's just like it's like the gates of Finnegan's Wake have opened up, and all the all the concerns here are actually manifesting themselves.
Well, this is so freeing. If we've ever done anything sexually inappropriate, I mean, not our audience member, but the rest of us, if we've ever done, it's in some ways freeing. We know the condemnation. But because he does it in such a fun way, such a brutal way, we can be freed by it, just like the woman we're just going to hear, Anna Olivia, who's named after the
river Liffey?
Yeah, she's like geography goes into the personality. It's very...
And the name suggests life itself, that she's somehow the life force that keeps the whole story going. And at the end, the sun is coming up, we could say. Anyway, the wake is finishing, and she is floating out to sea like the river Liffey. And as she gets closer and closer to the ocean, the fresh water is mixing with the salt, and it's very confusing for her. It's like she's losing her consciousness.
That's happened when people die.
It does.
But it's very affirmative without ignoring all the negative in life. There's hope for all of us.
And she thinks about everything and everyone she's loved, and she's somehow parting from them, and she's somehow still loving them, and she's still trying to hold on to bits and pieces of her consciousness, and it's all dissolving. And then the last word of the book is the, and if you turn to the front of the book, the sentence just carries on. And so it's like a cyclical thing. The wake starts itself all over again. So we don't have to worry too much about Aunt Olivia. It's more like
it's going to come again.
yeah, it's like a daily occurrence that that she dissolves.
Now the last word of Finnegan, of Ulysses is yes. She's making love with the first time to her husband to be, and she gives him some cakes that she's chewing. She puts it in his mouth, yes?
I think they exchanged the seed cake, right?
Yum, yum. And then she says to him, yes, yes, yes. And that's the last word.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this an improvement? The as the last word or not?
It's interesting, isn't it? So, so it has all the possibility. I mean, the can't exist by itself. It has to go somewhere. And I think it's really a terrific dynamic choice.
It might be an improvement over yes. If someone asks you, will you marry me? You can say the.
Might sound like duh, though. It's be careful.
Even that might be. Well, now, without further ado, we're going to hear first Aunt Olivia from Joyce, and then we're going to hear the improved version from Tim Ahern.
Okay, and just in the spirit of an improvisation, so you can imagine that in this book, I did a lot of improvisations. I took motifs, I worked with them in the middle, and there was a tremendous drum solo in the middle or whatever, you know. But now we're coming to the end, and just like with most jazz standards, they will go back to the original song, and you'll start to hear, oh, there it is, my favorite things again, let's say, and you're just sort of taken out. So what I did, it's almost like plagiarism. These last few pages, I just modified the language just a little bit, because the wake actually has, you know, it's very much English. So shall I start reading some?
Yes, yes. We reach to the end, I think.
Okay. And it's about a page, so it's not too long. For she'll be sweet, oh, try not to part. Be happy, dear ones. May I be wrong? For she'll be sweet for you as I was sweet when I came down out of me, mother. My great blue bedroom, the air so quiet, scarce a cloud. In peace and silence, I could have stayed up there for always, only it's something fails us. First we feel, then we fall. And let her rain now if she likes, gently or strongly as she likes. Anyway, let her rain, for my time is gone. I done me best when I was let, thinking always, if I goes, all goes. 100 cares, a tithe of troubles, and is there anyone who understands me? 1 in 1,000 of years of the nights? All me life I've been lived among them, but now they are becoming loath to me. And I'm loathing their little warm tricks, and loathing their mean cozy turns, and all the greedy gushes out through their small souls, and all the lazy leaks down over their brash bodies. How small it's all. And me letting on to myself always, and lilting on all the time. I thought you were all glittering with the noblest of carriage. You're only a bumpkin. I thought you the great in all things, in guilt and in glory. You're but a puny.
Well,
Home. My people were not their sort, out there beyond, so far as I can. For all the bold and bad and bleary they are blamed, the sea hags, no. Nor for all their wild dances and all their wild din. I can see myself among them, a la Nuvia pulchrabeld. How she was handsome, the wild Amasia, when she would seize to my other breast. And what is she weird, haughty Neluna, that she will snatch from my ownest hair? For 'tis they are the stormies, ho, hang, hang, ho, and the clash, 'tis they are. Our cries will be springing for us to be free. Our revolts, they say, never heed of your name. but I'm loathing them, and that's here and all I loathe, lonely in my loneness, for all their faults, I'm passing out. Oh, bitter ending. I'll slip away before they're up. They'll never see, nor know, nor miss me. And it's old, and it's old, it's sad and old. It's sad and weary I go back to you, my cold father, my cold, mad father, my cold, mad, fiery father, till the near sight of the mere size of him, the moils and moils of it, moan and owning, makes me sea-silt salt-sick, and I rush my only into your arms. I see them rising. Save me from those terrible prongs. 2 more. 1, 2 Mormons more. So, aval, aval. My leaves have drifted from me, all, but one clings still. I'll bear it on me to remind me of Oof. So soft this morning ours. Yes, carry me along, Taddy, like you done through the toy fair. If I seen him bearing down on me now under white spread wings, like he'd come from archangels, I think I'd die down over his feet humbly dumbly, only to wash up. Yes, Tid, there's where. First, we passed through grass, we hushed the bush to whish, a gull, gulls, far calls, coming far, end here. Us then, Finn again, take us softly, me more me, till thousands thee, lips, the keys to, given, away, alone, a last, a loved, along the river run. It's the first word.
Well, makes me cry. And our audience member too is yes. Wow. Want to say why?
Just intense.
No.
Feeling.
It is intense.
And lonely. And looking down on life now, yes?
It's all falling apart. And at the same time, she does feel love, but you feel how much life means to her too. And then she turns into a little child and she calls for me, more me, but she's also calling for memory.
Oh, very nice.
And then the lips, like kiss me. Because one of the big things in Finnegan's Wake, it relates to a play where this man is in jail and his girlfriend is allowed to visit her, and she kisses him and passes the key
Oh, yes.
into his mouth so he can escape later on. And so when ALP and Olivia leaves the wake here, she's passing the key to us.
What a gift. I'm just beginning to understand the power of not only solitude, but I can keep my solitude when talking with people. I don't have to, like I learned in Israel, I don't have to be witty or loving. I'm covered with shit, so I'm a valuable human being.
That's right, you can accept your whole self.
Wow, what a gift. So it seems death, and again, this is called Finnegan's Wake. Why don't you just tell people briefly the story of Finnegan's Wake, which is a song. You might even sing a...
Right, so I don't know the words well enough to sing it straight off, but it's a story about a bricklayer, and it's actually, I think it was composed in New York, but it's about an Irishman. And he's a bricklayer, and he climbs up on his ladder, but he drank a lot the night before, and he's still a bit tipsy, and he falls off the ladder, and he falls down, and his friends pick him up, and they carry him off to his beer, they lay him out, they have a wake, everybody comes, there's people keening, there's drinks are served, and then because it's an Irish affair, eventually somebody says something that they shouldn't have said, and somebody didn't take it the right way, and there's a fight breaks out, and they're throwing their drinks, and a bottle of whiskey crashes over Finn's head, and the liquor covers his face and he wakes up and he says, he swears in Irish, "Anna Muckandul, did you think I was dead?" Lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake.
Right, yeah,
So I mean, but it's a very
and he wakes up.
it's a drinking song.
Yeah.
And it's but it brings up the idea of death and resurrection,
Yeah.
but in a very playful way.
In a very playful way, yes.
Yeah. So
Well,
that he
this-
used this ditty, and he made something, so much larger out of
So
it.
it's a hopeful book in some ways, with all the horror in it, right? All the sexual abuse, all the nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hopeful in a very Joycean way, or a very honest way. She really is alone. There's no one on her bedside when she's dying.
No, she is the last one to leave the wake.
Yeah. And the lyric nature of her words, and even as they confuse themselves, meaning other things, I'm leaving and I'm leafing like a tree losing its leaves. It seems to be beautiful in its sorrow and in its solitude.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't need to be relating to anyone anymore.
That's right. If you think about Ulysses, she's accepting her lover at the end, and so that affirms life.
The lover is
Leopold Bloom.
yes,
in that case.
and Ulysses, and here it's life, right?
It's life, it's death, life and death.
The
a
whole cycle. I'm loving it.
She's accepting it
I'm
all,
going.
and she's sort of maybe passing on something to us that's very precious.
The key,
Right.
which is the book. The book.
It's almost, I'll see you on the other side,
I'm just going to read some of it now, and then maybe the rest before we part, because we'll talk again. We'll talk about it. Please interrupt me, both of you, anytime. Try not to part. So she doesn't want to leave yet. Be happy. What wonderful words to leave people with. Be happy, dear one, especially she who's been through so much. My grandmother used to say, it'll all work out for the good in the end. And she died in August on a beautiful weekend. And my dad and I, when we went there, we didn't have a wake, we were Jewish. So we played chess instead. But I could feel my father, his beloved mother just died. But we're playing chess and we're competitive, father and son. And I can feel we're hugging each other through the chess pieces. And I'm playing like you, right? I'm being improvisational. He's being my father, very slow and steady. And we're seeing which would win the improvisation. But we were hugging through the game.
That's lovely.
Be happy, dear ones. May I be wrong, whatever that means. That's very beautiful. May I teach me from my wrongness. For she'll be sweet for you as I was sweet when I came down out of me mother. Which means, who's the she?
And Olivia, she's probably talking about her daughters replacing her. And she was just as sweet when she replaced her mother.
So
They both came out of the sky.
So she'll be sweet for you as rivers do out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
My great blue bedroom, the sky.
I love that concept.
The air so quiet, scarce a cloud, in peace and silence. Now isn't this even better? The wake was beautiful. Isn't this better? Yes, we have 14 audience members going to vote. I could have stayed up there for always, only. There's a Jewish myth that 4 rabbis go to paradise. And it's like this, paradise. One of them goes crazy, like Joyce almost did. It's too hard to handle. One of them dies, it's really too hard to handle. One of them decides to just stay there. And only one is able to keep that paradise and come down and be with us, which maybe Joyce did in part. I could have stayed up there for always, only, that's the end of the sentence. First we feel, then we fall, and let her reign now, if she likes. That's the reign of all
Right, and so this is the daughter, so she can reign like a queen,
Oh my.
or she's going to drop because of the cycle of the water.
Yes,
It's time for her to start filling the river basin.
gently or strongly as she likes. I done the best when I was let. When I was let. Very nice. None of this. I just did my best. No, she's not going to go into that platitude. Thinking always, if I go, all goes. Sometimes maybe we feel this, yes?
A very subjective take on the
Yeah,
world.
if there's no world, if I 100, but she's also saying it for her daughters, 100 cares, a tithe of troubles. And is there anyone who understands me?
We can all ask that question, can't we?
Wow. 1 in 1,000 of years of the night. It's like the 1,001 night. Maybe there's one. Tim understands James. Joyce is not alone.
Well, they're also asking, what does even, so if she told the 1001 Night stories like Scheherazade, does anybody even understand one of those stories that she told?
Stories, all my life I've been living among them, and now it's the them, the world is, but now they are becoming lost to me. And I am so honest, brutally honest, and I am loathing their warm tricks, and loathing their mean, cozy turns, even their warm coziness. No, no more. And all their greedy gushes out through their small souls. No sentimentality here, baby. And all the lazy leaks down over their brash bodies. How small it's all. And me telling myself otherwise. I try to convince myself they're all so beautiful. They're in the image of no. And all their greedy gushes out through their small souls and the lazy leaks down over their breath. How small it's all. Me telling myself otherwise and lilting all the time. Singing about it, lilting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were all glittering with the noblest of carriage. You're only a bumpkin.
Like Cinderella.
I thought you were the great in all things, in guilt and glory. Even your guilt was great, and in glory. You're but a puny.
I like the word guilt because it's, you know, it can be gilded
Oh,
like gold,
yeah, very nice.
but it's also their guilt.
Home. My people were not that sort out beyond there so far as I can see. For all that's bold, bad, and bleary, they are blamed. The sea hags. No, not for all our wild dances in all their wild in. I can see myself among them, all anew and beautiful. How she was handsome, the wild Amazon, when she would seize to my other breast. Is the water coming in? The wild or another woman?
Well, the Amazonians were said to have cut off one of their breasts so that they could fire their arrows better.
Yeah,
So I think it's a reference to her daughter seizing the one breast to nurse on.
Oh,
But
man.
I could be wrong.
What is she worth, haughty Nile, that she will snatch again? She's from my ownness hair, maybe it is breastfeeding, taking my... For 'tis they are the Furies. Go hang the queen. Maybe the daughters to her. Wang ho, and the clash of our cries, till we leap, spring to be free. The breeze whispers, pay no heed to names. Never heard of yours. She's really being obliterated. But I'm looking and loathing them that's here, and all I love and hate to leave. So what a contradiction. I'm looking and loathing them. This is so freeing. I have songs, you know, called I Hate Everybody I Do. And then it goes into I Love Everybody I Do. And both are true.
Oh, and it has this frame like I hate you and you and you and you. But
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I went and saw The Exterminating Angel last night, this new opera on the simulcast, and they sang your song. He said, there's this one guy who just explodes. He says, and I hate you, and I hate you, and I hate you, and I hate you.
Oh, and it's
But I
very
thought,
freeing instead
Michael.
of putting yourself down. It's very freeing and enjoy it. Wow. A lonely cried, loony in my loneliness. It's okay to be crazy.
And like a loon, you know, they're
Oh, yes. So this double meaning frees us, really. I'm loony. We can also be both loony and a loon.
Yeah, you don't have to pretend anymore when you're
Even in
passing out.
Yes, for all their faults I am passing out. Oh, bitter ending, but I'll slip away before they're up. They'll never see, nor know, nor miss me. And it's old and old. It's sad and old. It's sad and weary. I go back to you, my cold father, my cold, mad father. And I'm just going to go to the end. 1,000 times thou sendest thee. It ends amid lips, the keys to given, away, alone, a lost, a last, a loved, along the
River run.
well, goes back to the beginning. Well, Tim Ahern, I'm sure I proved to everyone this is a better version. He's a very, not only is it better, he's a humble author. And even when given accolades by our audience member, he's still humbly defending James Joyce. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure.